It's my great pleasure to introduce the moderator for this session. Krish is an extremely distinguished engineer. He's a professor of mechanical engineering here, but I think even more significantly, he has one of the few personal chairs at the University of Maine, the Carell Presidential Chair in Energy, and we're delighted that Krish could make time from a very busy schedule to moderate this. I think it's going to be a very high-powered session indeed. So I'll hand things over to Krish.
Thank you, Stephen. So it's a great pleasure to be here, seeing this audience. This workshop, and I've been mulling over the theme of this workshop and thinking about one of my friends in sociology who said, collaboration is built on friendship and mutual trust. So when people become friends, they get to know each other, have a beer, then they start talking collaboration. So this workshop is actually consistent with this context of the beer comes later, right? No, we had it yesterday. It builds on this friendship and trust, friendship across the border, and trust, perhaps I should say cautious trust between the neighbors. I just recall that when I was a graduate student at Memorial University, I was in the dorms with the three other Canadian students, friends of mine. And that was in 1988 when many of you remember George W. Bush Sr. was running for the president. And we had a TV on and we were like watching all the presidential debates. And you may remember George Bush's, one of his pet phrases was, he said, "I want a kinder, gentler nation." Remember that? And my friend Paul, who was sitting across the lounge, he looked at me and he said, "You know what that means?" I'm like a foreigner, right? I've just moved from India. I had no idea of what's going on. And he tells me, "You know, George Bush wants Canada. He really wants Canada." So it's like over time I've noticed that the trust across the two nations, we just have to say it's cautious trust. So anyway, I got my degree from Memorial University, and so I consider myself an honorary Canadian. I'm also an honorary Newfoundlander because I've actually gotten screeched twice. So I've got screeched, kissed the card 2 times, so I've become a real Newfoundlander. And yes, folks, it's gross. It's pretty bad. But if you don't know what screech is, you should Google it. It's an amazing drink. What about 98% alcohol, pure. So it's really good stuff. Today's panel, what I want to get to the chase here. So today's panel is made up of 3 remarkable individuals. Private sector, universities from across the border. And they are, so when we think of what the focus of today's workshop is and how each of us fit in, we are talking of all of us, almost, I think all of us will conform to some common long-term goals, right? We all want world peace. We want a safe planet and happy retirement, those sort of things. But the short-term goals, the path we take, are very diverse. And for many of us, we need to make sure the bottom line for survival is taken care of. The metrics for success are very different. And it's no different for our 3 panelists, and whose short-term goals are diverse based on the organizational requirements of the three. So what I did in preparing for this panel session, my instruction to the panelists was A, to keep it short, 10 minutes. And I'm not such a nice guy when it comes to keeping up with the time. And so after the introduction, I requested the panel members to talk a bit about one success story and talk about one challenge, keeping in mind the issues of collaboration and building trust and all that. And so the idea is we want this group to extend an appreciation for the success of this individual and their organization, but also follow that with an understanding of the challenges they are facing, and it might resonate, both of these might resonate with all of us here. So at the end, we would have sufficient time, I hope, for a very interactive Q&A discussing each aspect of what the three panelists suggest to us. So I thought I would start today's panel session with Bruce Colborn. And Bruce is a professor in ocean and naval architectural engineering from Memorial University. And Bruce and I are good friends. We have known each other, done experiments together for, 15 years now? Something like that. In one of Bruce's degrees was from MIT, and he tells me that he would regularly drive through the Maritimes and through the state of Maine for a couple of years, all the way up to Newfoundland and back? Just 1 year. So he is really fond of this entire neighborhood. And you're still fond of your car after all that? Different car. Thank you. So we'll follow Bruce with Nate Johnson from the Ocean Renewable Power Company. Nate is the Director of Environmental Affairs and Business Development with ORPC. And Nate tells me that he's really involved in commercial fishing. And he lives in an island and out in the water, enjoy the water everywhere, all around in this Atlantic and Maine, coastal Maine areas. Nate also serves in the Island Institute Board, and we do have a Maui in Maine, so it's like a little Hawaii, right? No, it's the Maine Ocean Wind Energy Initiative, and he's also a policy advisor for Sea Grant. Last of the panelists, but not the least definitely, is Dr. Habib Dagar, Director of the Advanced Structures and Composites Center. Habib was instrumental in bringing me here 5 years ago, and Habib and I have become very good friends in the past several years. And the facility you will see later today, for those fortunate few who have raised their hands up, you'll see a true world class in the making, and that's basically Habib's vision, and which I was very happy to have contributed. So without much ado, I'll hand the floor over to Bruce, who's gonna take you on a joyride to Memorial University.